Okay, we're going to move up the community center update. So it's way too long.
Yeah.
Scott, how are you this evening?
Wonderful. How are you?
I'm great.
Good evening, and thank you. This is my unusual monthly community center update. As you recall, I provide this at the first meeting of every month, and this is available on our website tomorrow, as are all the past presentations that I have given. So just a quick review of where we are in the schedule. Again, we're still in quarter three. I guess we're just now coming into quarter three for 2018. We're not too far off from wrapping up design and starting the construction phase of our project, and we're looking at a mid-2020 opening. And we are in the heat of the design phase right now. So we're taking care of June, and we're moving into July, and you'll be seeing a lot of me between now and the end of September. This evening, and I'll talk more about this in a second, we had our design committee meeting, and we'll talk about the outcome of that to discuss aquatics. And we have another design committee meeting later this month to help prepare us for our public open house on July 30th. And then throughout this process, we've been having periodic check-ins with the park board and the steering committee to update them on where we are in the project. And so we'll be having that meeting at the July 24th park board meeting. Following the end of July, we'll be working to wrap up design and move into the planning and zoning phase of the project. So lots of opportunities for more presentations. So what I want to talk with you all tonight and dive deep, if there are no general questions about where we stand with the project right now, is to talk about the aquatic layout. I know this has been a significant community conversation, but where we are in the process is truly just at the very beginning of aquatic design. And so the design committee met tonight to make sure that we are working to include the correct set of amenities in the aquatics areas, and then to look out how we should move forward with the aquatics layout, because of course we have a set amount of space for aquatics, and some of those decisions impact where the building goes on the site, budget, etc., other pieces of the project. So I want to just give the disclaimer I gave to them that these are conceptual layout options that really only show spacing. Once we make some decision, once you hear the design committee's recommendation tonight, it will influence how we move into design development. All the landscaping features aren't shown yet. This is really just how it fits on the space. So know that additional development will happen beyond this. These concepts that you're going to see this evening. So like I shared with the design committee, the goal of today is to identify the design concept to move forward with, and there are really kind of three legs of this stool that we have to consider. First, it's the amenities that serve the most stakeholders in the area, and part of that conversation is what goes inside and what features are available year-round and what features are available during the 90-day summer season. Of course, we also have a budget we need to consider. The $30 million budget was based off a certain breakdown of aquatic square feet and fitness square feet and meeting space square feet, etc. And so we have to work within some of those constraints with the understanding that if we choose to increase one area, it will require a trade-off somewhere else in the budget. So now's the right time to make those decisions. And then, of course, available space. As we've always talked about on this site, it's a long, narrow site, and we only have so much width to work with from east to west to fit the building and the outdoor aquatic space. So that does drive some of our design for aquatics. So I just want to take you through kind of the fact-finding mission at a high level right now to look at how we arrived at this list of amenities. First, this is our current pool, and you can see we have a lap pool with both 50-meter and 25 yards. Lap lanes, we have 2 diving boards, the short diving boards, 1-meter diving boards, which are used by the dive team, and then we have a 3-meter high dive, which is a fun feature. We have 2 large slides for kids 48 inches or taller that empty into this plunge pool right here. And then we also have a wading pool that has a 0 depth entry. It has some water and splash features, and then it has 2 slides for people who are under 48 inches tall, so more little kid family type slides. We did do a survey through ETC, who does our citizen survey, a statistically significant survey that was conducted in summer 2016 that asked a variety of questions, not only about aquatics, but about what other features should be included in the new community center. And then in addition, we had 522 people participate in that. The consulting team also did a follow-up SurveyMonkey survey to allow additional people to provide input into those questions. And so we had about 80 more people participate in that SurveyMonkey. It's important to note that the SurveyMonkey one was just whoever got the website could fill it out, so it's not statistically significant in any way, but still good feedback. So as you can see, this is a slide from the ETC survey that's asked what 3 items would be most important in the design of a new and redesigned aquatic center. The top choice is a lazy river, followed by zero depth entry. 34% said water slides, 32% said outdoor lap lanes, 26% said diving boards, 22% said concessions, 19% said spray pad, and 17% said sundials. So that kind of gives you a feel for where the priorities were on those amenities walking into this conversation. Of course, as part of the ballot initiative, we also talked about what might go indoor and might go outdoors, and provided this adjacency diagram to show that it would fit on this space and about what amount of size we would have to provide for the different amenities. So the language we used was indoor pool with lap lanes, leisure pool, and therapeutic water, outdoor pool with spray pad, lap lanes, and leisure pool. It was captured under proposed amenities, so just to give some examples about what could go inside and outside. And then, of course, we have the swim team that we need to consider. It is our intent to continue to have a swim team moving forward. So on the left side, you can see just some information about our current swim team. We have about 50 kids per season. The season is about 6 weeks long, and we host 3 swim meets and 2 dive meets per season. We took a look at what else is happening in the Kansas City market for outdoor pools utilized by swim teams, and 16 of our neighbors responded. 10 have lanes that are less than 25 yards, and of those, 50% have less than 8 lanes. Typically it's 6, but there were some people with 4 and some people with 7, just depending on how their pool was organized. So this led us to a list of amenities that we had the design team confirm. And so we confirmed that there needed to be a lazy river, zero depth entry, water slides, at least 1 big one for people over 48 inches tall, and 1 for little kids and family. We needed spray features. We needed an indoor lap lane. We needed outdoor lap lanes that can accommodate the swim team. We need a therapy pool, and missing from this list, and this was my mistake, are diving boards, 1-meter diving boards to support the dive team. You will see those later. The other things that we need to include are appropriate deck space for amenities. So can we host a swim meet? Is there enough space for families to set up and enjoy the day? Or can you move and circulate throughout the pool space appropriately? And we want to make sure that the amenities are spaced so all users can have an enjoyable experience. We don't want people trying to lap swim right at the end of a slide that's dropping into water, or we want to give people opportunities to enjoy the pool and amenities in different times in different ways. And then, of course, like I said before, we need to consider what's available 365 days out of the year versus what's available 90 days out of the year, and how do we create the correct balance in amenities. So this is the list with the inclusion of diving boards that the design committee confirmed is the list of amenities that they want to see us move forward with. So just a reminder to everybody, this is the site layout that we are working with right now. As proposed in the master plan, this is 66,000 square feet of space, with space for indoor aquatics and outdoor aquatics. We talked about this at our last meeting, and I'll reconfirm for everyone. There's been some conversations of if the library is not on the site, there would be additional space for aquatics. That's not the case because the budget provides an amount of aquatic space that we can afford. So we can't just extend the pool area into that area unless there's additional funding that's available. So here's the layout of the indoor pool that the design committee agreed on this recommendation. So I'll take you through it quickly so you can see.
Can I interrupt you for a minute?
Yeah.
Just in case the audience wondered, I know we as a council, this is the first time that most of us have seen this.
This is hot off the press.
Right, so
yeah.
we have not been working with this drawing and coming up with ideas. This is actually the first time I've seen it, so.
Yeah, these were decisions that were made at 6:30 this evening, so I'm walking in straight out of the design committee meeting. Yes. So this indoor pool layout, I'll take you through it. This is the therapy pool. So this is warmer water that can be used for, of course, any sort of physical therapy that we might have a partnership that could help us with in the future on that. Looking at swim lessons, it'll hold about 25 people for swim lessons. It's also a good opportunity for little kids who, parents are just trying to get their kids acclimated to water. It's a place that's a little more secluded, that you can do that inside without being in the larger lap-landed open swim area. So this is the therapy pool. Coming, yeah?
Can we ask questions?
Yeah.
Are those steps into that, or is that?
This is steps into this because it's such a small space. This doesn't have zero depth entry. But it's a good segue into the zero depth entry into the larger area of the pool. So this is zero depth entry right here. And it comes into these spray features. So these are features that buckets that pour water, or some mushroom that has water flowing over the side of it or something like that. So this will be a good spray and play place for kids and families who don't want to be totally in the water, but they want to be a little bit in the water. Over here, coming back up here, these are steps that lead into the lazy river, which is right here. The lazy river flows into just open play space. This is about 3.5 feet, 4 feet deep, just so most people could be able to stand in that space, but it'd still be fun to play in and swim in. And then you have 4 lap lanes, 25-yard lap lanes right here. And I will note for the lap lane area, this can of course be used for lap lanes, but it's also an open swim and play area. And there are hooks that we can install as part of the design process that will allow us to do volleyball, basketball, and we've seen other, like log rolling is really popular, stand-up paddle boarding. I mean, there's all sorts of other fun features we can add to that area that don't actually involve permanent infrastructure in that space.
So what is the depth of the lap lane area?
It's about 3 feet 6 inches. Yeah. And so then over here you can see these stairs. They lead up to a platform, and we have 2 slides here. We have a family slide, which is actually wide enough for multiple people to go on it at once. It's wider. You can take a little kid down it with you, or little kids can go down themselves. And there, of course, would be a guard right there to help facilitate this process. And then we have the steps up to a 20-foot slide that would drop into this plunge area. Just to help acclimate for what's happening around here, we're not diving deep into what's happening in the rest of the building right now, but just so you know, this is a family change room. So these are private cabanas that you can take your entire family into and change, so you don't need to walk through the male and female locker rooms, which are up in this area. And you access the pool either through this hallway right here, or this door out of the family changing room, either of these doors at a family change room. We did have a question about seating in this area. It's a conversation we're having, but just to get the concept put together, to get feedback on, we haven't got that far into design development quite yet. So I'm happy to, yeah.
Lockers?
Yeah, they'll be in the locker rooms, in the family change rooms. You can actually see some of them in this area right here.
What's the deepest part, 3.6?
Mm-hmm. In the slide area? Oh, right here. Yeah.